Most golfers spend 95% of their time working on the 5% of their game that's going to make no difference. So, what I want to do for you right now is actually change your score because you need to be working on exactly what I'm about to tell you. So, the big question is this: how do passionate golfers like you and I develop a stock shot day in and day out? A stock shot that's as reliable as the sun coming up in the morning. That's the question, and this podcast is the answer. Welcome to Stock Shot Secrets. You spending no time putting is not your fault because, listen, it's boring. It's not fun, and the reason it's not fun is because you don't know what to do. So yesterday, I'm at the golf course. I had a gentleman who had flown in from Colorado, and my little man, Adler, headed out to the green. And Adler is obsessed with golf right now. He is at a golf course, legitimately, not exaggerating. He is practicing probably somewhere in the realm of 25 to 35 hours a week right now. He is obsessed, right? Summertime, he's 12 years old, which is great. And I just stay out of his way and let him go. But he comes out to we comes out to the club, to Tartan Fields where we're at, and he starts to hit putts on the putting green. And I'm watching him, and I do as hard as I possibly can to stay out of his way because just like you guys, my kids don't listen to me either. So, I always kind of make the joke, I'm the number one teacher in the state of Ohio, and I don't even teach my own kids. What makes you think you can teach your own kids? So I try not to teach him very much, and if he wants help, I just give him set up with one of my golf room instructors. So he's coming out, and he starts putting, and he's doing the best he can, but he does what we all do and what every other amateur golfer was on the putting green doing. He drops 3 balls and he starts to hit putts. And he hits 3 putts, moves spots, drops 3 more putts, hits spots. And the problem is he's not really doing anything. So what I want to do for you in this podcast is I want to lay out for you a systematic way of how to spend an hour working on your putting so that the hour goes by fast. Now, the first thing that we would need you to do is we need to make sure that all of your stuff is correct. And what I mean by your stuff is your setup is correct. So you're going to go in a mirror, you're going to check your alignment. We're going to make sure that the ball, if you're right-handed, the ball is underneath your left eye. We're going to make sure the putter is underneath your nose. We're going to make sure our shoulders are square. We're going to make sure our forearms are on top of one another. We're going to make sure our grip is in our lifelines. We're going to make sure our weight is on our lead foot. And we're going to make sure that our setup is good. Now, after we've done that, we need to be working on one of 3 things in your putting. We're either working on line, read, or speed. And if you're not working on one of those, you're not working on anything. So the first thing we need to do is we need to work on line, Adler. So what we're going to do is we're going to put up a putting arc and a clip, which you can get at thegolfroomproducts.com, which basically makes it so that it's a stencil of a perfect putting stroke with perfect face control, because the face control determines 93% of where the ball goes. So we need to make sure that that face is super, super steady. Now, after we've worked on our stroke, we know it's good. Now we need to test it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set up a gate, and we're going to put a ball. There's a thing that you could also get at thegolfroomproducts.com. I'm not trying to sell you on buying products, right? I don't care. It's not going to change my life. These are just products that I've had forever. I literally had mine in 2010, and I still use them today. So, yes, you're going to buy them. You'll use them for 5 decades. So, but a right on line or whatever it is a device that makes it so the ball has to start on line. Think of it like hitting through a mouse hole or like a door, right? So now that I've done my putting arcs and clips, I now need to hit balls from 6 feet, and those right on lines, those clips and arcs are from 6 feet as well. I need to hit right on lines and make sure I can start the ball on line from 6 feet continuously over and over and over and over and over again. Let's call it 25 putts in a row. Hey, sorry for interrupting your podcast, but I want to give you a special opportunity to get better. Now, what do I mean is when I go to the golf course and I see players just like you, right? They're aimlessly hitting balls, trying to get better, and it's not their fault, but they're not really working on anything that's actually going to go about getting them better, right? They're working on this, or they're working on flipping, or early extending, or not hitting it left, or not hitting it right, but there's not an actual plan of cause and effect of what it is that they really need to do to actually get better. So what I want to give you an opportunity for is what we call a new student swing assessment. Now, this is done online, and all you have to do is send us 2 videos of your swing. It's ridiculously easy, ridiculously simple, and after this, you're going to get a full, robust breakdown of your golf swing and what it is that you need to tackle first and foremost so that you can start building a better game tomorrow and, quite frankly, start building stock shots. So you can do this at thegolfroomeverywhere.com/NSA. That's for new student assessment, but NSA, and you can get this full breakdown and, quite frankly, in record turnaround time. You could send it in right now and get it back in a few hours later and have a plan tonight as to what it is that you need to do to go about getting better. So we look forward to seeing your swing, and now back to the podcast. So now this process, so far all in, we're probably at somewhere around 30 minutes, 25 minutes, right? Now now that I can start the ball online, I now need to work on speed. So what is a speed drill that we could do? Well, a very, very simple one that we could do is you're going to take a club, like a 4-iron, a 5-iron, or an alignment stick or whatever. You're going to put that puppy 2 feet behind the hole, right? And then you're going to walk out to 15 feet, and you're going to put a tee in the ground. Then 20 feet, 25 feet, 30 feet, 35 feet, and 40 feet. So you have all these tees from 15 to 45 to 40 feet in increments of 5 feet. You have to hit 3 out of 3, or maybe if your handicap, it's 2 out of 3. Meaning I would say 2 out of 3 would be if you're like a 0 to 10 handicap, 5 to 10 handicap, and then if you're above a 10 handicap, maybe it's 1 out of 3. But you need to hit 1 out of 3, or 2 out of 3, or 3 out of 3, based upon your skill, past the hole, the front edge of the hole, and short of the bar. Then if you do that and you go 3 out of 3, let's say that's what I would do, right? Then you go to the next one. So now you're at 20 feet. If you miss, and let's just say you don't do, let's say your goal is 1 out of 3 and you don't do any of them, you have to move back to 15 feet. So now you go back to 15 feet again. That's the punishment. So you go back to 15 feet, you do it. Then you go to 20 feet, you do it. Then you go to 25 feet, you miss. Then you drop back to 20. And let's say you miss again, you do not drop to 15. You can only drop back 1 level. This is called the ladder drill. So now you're doing games where you're actively working on speed. The only thing you're working on is speed. Could you make the putt? Sure. Is that a trophy? Great job. But the goal is not to make the putt. The goal really is to make sure that your speed is on point. So now we've worked on line, we've worked on speed. Now we need to work on reading. And by and large, no one works on greed reading. However, they definitely should work on greed reading. So what we need to do is we need to make it so that we can essentially see 2 things. 1, am I with where I want to start a putt and hit it? Did I actually do that? And 2, with the desired line that I'm thinking the ball should curve, is that the line with the speed? So the way that I would do this, right, is I would take that right on line, or you could take, let's say, an alignment stick, if we all have alignment sticks, and I want you to take the alignment stick, and I want you to aim the alignment stick, right, and where the direction of where you think the ball should start to make the ball go in, right? So let's just say, for example, we're hitting a 15-footer, and the 15-footer, I want you to kind of visualize this, the 15-footer is right to left. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to aim the alignment stick to where I think the ball would go, right? So let's just say it's 2 cups outside right. I'm going to aim the alignment stick at 2 cups outside right, and then a foot in front of it, I'm going to put tees to tell me whether or not I started the ball on line. Because I don't want to make it to where I thought it was 2 cups outside right. I actually pull it and the ball goes in. Because now, if I did that, the read was wrong. I just pulled it, right? I need to make sure that I'm hitting it on the line that I am desiring. And if you can't hit it through the line you're desiring, well, then you got to go back to level 1, which is the putting arc with the clips. Because guess what? Your stroke, it sucks. It needs to get better, and you can't start a ball on line. So now you're going to go through and you're going to aim the alignment stick where you want it to go. You're going to put two tees out in front of you about a foot, and the tee should be just a little bit wider than the golf ball, and then you're going to hit it through. And if you can hit it through those tees with the right speed, right, and it goes in, guess what? You read it correctly. So now you're combining line, read, and speed. That's like the trifecta, number 3. So that's called block practice. You're working on line, reader, speed. So we programmed in the locker room. We've gone and worked on line, reader, speed. Now you maybe would go work on random. And the random would actually have been just what we just did, because with that alignment stick and the 2 tees, you're actually doing it and you're only hitting 1 or 2 putts from that spot. So we're actually going to say that that is the random, because you're hitting different putts, different reads. I would probably suggest anywhere from 5 to 15 feet. You don't need to do it from 40 feet. I mean, you could, but 5 to 15 feet would be fine. That would be the random. And now finally, you're going to go into competing. You got to do something, right? If I'm telling Adler, like, hey, bro, you got to do something to get off the putting green. You got to earn your way off. I know you want to hit balls. I know that's the most fun, but guess what? We got to putt better, so you need to earn your way to get yourself to that range to hit drivers, because I know that's what you want to do, right? So now to compete, one of my favorite games that was actually taught to me by when I was teaching the #1 putter in the world is called 15-15-15. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into your bag, and you're going to pull out 10 tees. And on the top of the tees, you're going to write 1 to 10. So every tee has a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 tees in my hand. I'm going to put the tees in my pocket, and I'm going to blindly, randomly pull out 5 tees. I don't know what numbers are on the 5 tees, but I know I have 5 tees. And those 5 tees, I'm going to put 5 tees around at 3 feet, because guess what? 5 times 3, 15. So now I have 5 tees that are in the ground. They're random numbers. I don't know what the numbers are. And then I'm going to pull out 3 tees. And the 3 tees I'm going to put around at 5 feet. So now 3 times 5 is 15. So I have 5 tees around at 3 feet, 3 tees around at 5 feet, and now I'm left with 2 tees. And what's 2 divided by 15 is 7, or 15 divided by 2 is 7.5. So now I'm going to take the 2 tees that I have left. I don't know what numbers are on them, and I'm going to put those 2 tees at 7.5. So 7.5 times 2 is 15. So I have 15, 15, 15. Now, if you are a great golfer, and I would say anywhere from I would probably say below a 3 or a 5. Let's say a 5. If you're below a 5, I want you to go around all of those tees, and you have to make every tee without missing. If you miss on T6, because the random, it's completely in different random order. If you do the tee at T6 and it doesn't go in, guess what? You start over. And then you do this, and you keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And guess what happens? You start to feel your heart rate raise, because guess what? That's exactly what it feels like when you're going to play under pressure, and you got to make that putt to beat your buddy to take $20 out of his wallet, right? So you're trying in this last stage is to compete so that you can feel stressed out. That is the goal of this final piece. So if you're under a 5, you get no mulligans. If you're a 5 to, let's say, 15, I'm going to give you 1 mulligan. And if you're above a 15, I'm going to give you, or I'll say if you're a 5 to 10, I'll give you 1 mulligan. If you're a 10 to a 15, I'll give you 2 mulligans. If you're above a 15, I'm going to give you 3 mulligans, right? And maybe if you're above a 20 or a 25, maybe 4. But the point is you want the game to be hard, and you want to fail, because you want to get, the goal of what you're trying to do is get to that spot where you're like, man, I got to make this putt because I'm tired of doing this. I've been doing it for 25 minutes. And that's what you're trying to shoot for. So it's one of the best games that I know. I love it so much. There's a ton of other ones. Probably could do a game, like a podcast, just telling you a bunch of different games that we could apply. But this is how, if you did this putting practice for me would take about 2 hours. That's a lot better than my little man who spends 15 minutes on the green, right? And it's not his fault. He just doesn't know yet. So, Adler, this is for you. Go do this practice plan. And for you, the amateur golfer, do this. And I promise you will start making more putts. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to the latest episode of the Stock Shot Secrets. Now, I want to give you a special opportunity where you and I can chat individually by just simply texting the following number, and you can ask any question under the sun about anything relative to your game or your skill, body, mind, whatever it is. So just text me at 614-541-1988. That's 614-541-1988. Subscribe to our text line, and then you can be in the special Stock Shot community where we can talk about everything under the sun regarding stock shots.